Hey people, Brendan here. Just wanted to make a video as promised. Last week I made one stating that I was going to make weekly videos. This first one's going to be based off of questions that I get from people thinking that they might have Parkinson's disease. Wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of what you can expect if you go to a neurologist, what kind of tests they gave me, and what I experienced prior to getting diagnosed. Now, the first symptom I had prior to getting diagnosed was fatigue, and I've had it for years. Trouble sleeping, trouble falling asleep. I would lay in bed for hours and not be able to fall asleep. And then I had trouble sleeping after I fell asleep. So I'd wake up in the morning after 9-10 hours of sleep or less and feel like I got no rest at all. Now, there's a difference between fatigue and feeling tired. You work all day, maybe you come home, you do some exercises, you're tired, you're worn out. That's not fatigue. You work all day, you come home, you do some exercises, you run a marathon, then you do some homework, you drink a Monster Energy drink, and you're still feeling like crap. You ran down, your body's aching, your mind hurts, you can't think. It's cloudy, it's foggy, you got a super bad headache, you have no energy. That's fatigue. Huge difference between fatigue and being tired. Tired, you can take a nap and get rid of it. Fatigue, nap sometimes helps, sometimes it does not. That was the first symptom I had. The first physical symptom I had was lack of arm swing. When I walk, this arm swings, this arm does not. Now, it does swing when I'm on my medication. I just took it, so it takes a little bit to kick in. I wanted to give you guys the perspective of me off the medication. That was the first thing that triggered me to go to the neurologist. One of the first things that I noticed. The second was stiffness, severe stiffness on the side, this arm, shoulder, face, leg, severely stiff. For people with young onset Parkinson's disease, stiffness is primarily a problem. In older people with Parkinson's disease, it's not as much of an issue. So there's a big difference between young onset and later onset, and a lot of people don't understand that. So trying to sort out the differences between the two. And finally, the thing that sent me to the neurologist, I was typing, and this hand wasn't working. The fingers on this hand, not working. See how they move? They don't move. Obviously, that's a problem. Then I noticed I had specifically an essential tremor. You can have an essential tremor and not have Parkinson's disease, but sometimes it does accompany Parkinson's disease. And you can tell, I shake a little bit. It was a lot worse before the meds. So that prompted me to go to the neurologist. He sent me to another neurologist for a second opinion. And there they diagnosed me with Parkinson's disease. Now, the first thing that they asked me after I gave them the mental effects of fatigue and just cloudy thoughts and having a hard time focusing, my mind was other places, honestly, and I had a hard time focusing on anything. And fatigue will wear you down and beat you up, and I was very unproductive. The first thing that she had me do was tap my fingers like that, just to kind of see where my progression was on the right side, which is pretty decent. Left side, okay, it's not nearly as good. So right side, left side, and my medicine's starting to kick in a little bit, so it's actually doing a little better than it usually does. So that's good, but still not too good. Also have you stick your hands out like this, turn your wrists like that, and mine not turning very well. Rigidity is another thing with Parkinson's disease that people don't realize. Rigidity is like a cogwheel. You know how it turns real slow and kind of clunks around. Really tight and stiff, and makes things difficult to turn, basically. She also had me stomp my feet. Probably can't see, but she had me lift my leg up, just try to see where my foot was at, my feet are, and how hard it is to do that for me, and tap your feet on the ground. Now, those are the main tests that she had me do. They may have you go in for a CAT scan, which I did do, and there was no abnormalities there. which is good, but Parkinson's disease won't show abnormalities unless you have the dopamine test. There's a test for that. I didn't get that done because it was quite obvious that I had an issue with my dopamine. So those are the things that you guys can expect if you go see the neurologist. If you feel like you need to go, you call your family doctor, and then they'll probably recommend you to a neurologist from there. I wouldn't panic because the chances of you having it, if you're under the age of 50, are very, very slim. And there are a lot of diseases that are similar to Parkinson's disease that aren't nearly as bad. Some of them are worse, but most of them aren't. So, and stress doesn't help the situation if you have some neurological issues at all. So those are the things I wanted to talk about today. Again, I'm going to be making some weekly videos, so I'll make one next week. I might amp it up depending on the reaction I get from these videos. And if I can think of any more tests or things that my doctor has me do, well, there's one more. She watches the way I walk. She'll watch my feet, the way I walk, and see how my stride is, my gait or whatever, and just to see how my feet are moving. I obviously would have a hard time showing you that on here, but that's another thing that you can notice if your left leg's trailing your right foot, or your right foot's trailing your left foot. Sometimes, mine started on my left side, but some people it'll start on the right side, and usually it'll start on one side and then move to the other side. So that's how Parkinson's disease starts. So again, like, subscribe to my videos if you are interested, comment, and I will be putting out some more. Thanks, guys. See you later.